Take two. You want to intro it? You want to intro it? What's up, guys? So normally we'd be like, "Hey, welcome back to the show," but this is going to be our first episode of Figuring It Out, but spelled with two G's, like our last name, and everything comes better in pairs. So, figuring it out, let's just jump right into it. What does it consist of? It's myself, David, and my beautiful wife,
Victoria.
So we are co-hosting this together. We are both 24 years old, and we want to kind of just we saw a hole in the market in podcasts for people our age group. It's always good to have people to look up to in terms of business and in life and things like that. But we have a lot of really good conversations with customers at our business that are our age, and they want to hear us talk about how we've gotten to the point we've gotten at our young age. And help them fill the gap in how to provide value in their own lives to other people and in business, and just talk about a little bit of our perspectives on things because we like to talk and we have really good conversations with other people. So, yeah, that's figuring out. We're just going to figure it out.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out as we go along. I think that there is definitely a void in terms of the process of people figuring it out. Like there's a lot of like 0 to 100 and how to get from down here to up there. And it's like nothing in between. So this is just us filling that in between. So glad to have you guys and let's get it.
Cool. So just jump right into it. We're going to just kind of like talk a little bit about ourselves separately, and then as people, how we got to the point we've gotten, and what our background is in terms of like, what's the credibility? Who the fuck are we? So you want to go first? You want to go first?
Go ahead.
Cool. So my name's David. David Fig, Figg. That's how we got the name Figuring It Out, because we're married now. I own House of Gains Gym, but now we own it together. So we opened the business together. I mean, technically, I'm the owner, but now we're co-owners as we've gotten married.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yes. You act like I wasn't with you when we first
I'm
opened.
kidding. So no, we did open the business, and I probably would have jumped off a bridge if she wouldn't have kept me sane. So, I am 24 years old, born in a small town here in SoCal. Most people don't even know who we are or where we're from. A place called Oxnard. It's an hour north of Los Angeles. What?
You forgot about Wainimi.
Okay. I'm from Port Hueneme, but Port Hueneme is a really small town that everyone thinks is Oxnard. It's like a small little Navy town in Southern California. It's like a little hidden gem off the freeway. So that's where we're from. I grew up in a small household, just myself, my brother, my parents, who are divorced now. But yeah, I grew up with when we were all together. Went to college, and decided that college was not for me. Like most people, I think that college is becoming an overrated thing nowadays. And I quickly learned through my sophomore year that it was a bunch of bullshit. So I decided to open up a business, and my parents were like, "Fuck no, you're crazy. If you open up a business, we're going to kick you out of the house and stop buying food for you and all these good things and all the things that parents try to help you with as you're going through college, saving money, being a broke motherfucker." So I said, "Fuck it, I'm doing it anyway." And so I did it. And now, of course, my mom likes to work at our business now. And so it's changed a lot. But yeah, so we own House of Gains Gym in Hueneme. It's a bodybuilding, powerlifting, strength training facility. About 800 members that we have at our small little 4,000 square foot facility. So in terms of a gym, a lot of personal training facilities are a lot smaller than us. So I would say that we are like a mid-sized gym. No Gold's Gym or World's Gym by any means, no huge, massive facility, but we have 800 members. So we have a good amount of people. Good community. So we built an amazing community there at the gym. We have conversations. Our demographic is 30 years and younger. So we have a very young demographic of people who we get to have daily conversations with, which is awesome. So, and now I'm a head coach with 168 Fitness, which is a coaching. So primarily coaching high performing individuals. So we do nutrition, lifestyle, accountability coaching, saving hundreds, if not thousands of people's lives through coaching, which is amazing. So weight loss journeys to come and plenty we've done so far. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. We'll dive into it more as Victoria kind of introduces herself.
Yeah, so I'm Victoria. I'm 24 years old. I will be 25 this coming September. I am one of 9 siblings. David into the culture.
Dude, I'm all about it now. I fuck with it.
So, and then growing up here in Oxnard, it's kind of hard not to, especially when you grew up in, the public school system here.
I was one of 5 white people at my school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, match made in heaven. No, but growing up, it was a lot of schoolwork, a lot of just household chores, just kind of being a homebody, like traditionally it was. So there wasn't really like sports or like recreation or after school activities or programs. No, it was just like go home, do your chores, get your homework done, and do the same thing over again, and take care of the household. But either way, we got accepted into college. We ended up both going to CSUCI and graduating from there. So I got my degree, my bachelor's in psychology with a minor in Spanish. And then during that time, I started out my work career, I guess you can say, working for the Boys and Girls Club program here in Oxnard and Hueneme, and then moved up very quickly through that ladder, and then transitioned into the Navy's Child and Youth programs. And then after we got married, we decided that it was going to be all in at the gym and just transitioned there full time. And so I left working about 25 hours a week to work over 60.
No, we easily work 80 now.
That's what I'm saying. I said over 60. Over 60.
Yeah. Give yourself some credit.
I'm not trying to scare everybody.
Yeah.
But either way, it is true what they say. You leave your 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
Yeah,
so
that's a fact.
that is no joke.
Yeah.
But either way, we got married in 2021. 2021 we got married.
Yeah.
I know, I got confused. 2021 we got married, and so we've been married for a little over a year now, but we met in the 8th grade, so junior high, and it has never been like an on and off again relationship. It was always like, this is what it's going to be, and this is how we're going to do it, and we just figured it out.
Yeah.
I mean, basically,
Basically, yeah. We'll go into a couple episodes on. I'm sure it'll be a recurring topic of how our relationship has succeeded so far. So.
Yeah, I mean, after being together for so long, there's just been so much growing throughout.
Yeah.
That it's like we can build many episodes on each year of our relationship.
Yeah, seriously, that's a fact. Yeah. Yeah.
So, now we're at the gym, and we decided to do this podcast again just because we feel like there's a lot of value we can bring in just daily conversations we have with people, and just conversations that we have with ourselves as a couple, and whether it be to inspire people, motivate people, let people into our lives a little bit more, because it's not just the front desk at the gym. It's just being a little bit more vulnerable, I guess you can say.
Yeah, we definitely have a customer service aspect to us, and we don't really get to talk that much about our personal lives. But I think the biggest thing that we want to get into is really the fact that there are plenty of people out there who have podcasts who are way more successful than what we are in terms of business-wise and relationship-wise. But I just don't think that there's anyone our age, at least, that's relatable in terms of coming from the small town, opening up a small business, becoming successful in that small business, and then just being having the ability to share that story with other people at our age group, at least.
And I think just be relatable in total, because, we have a variety. I mean, having the gym, we've learned to come across a variety of like friend groups, some older, some younger, some our age, some in different careers. And I think that there's nothing that's super relatable like out there. Like you've already made it, and so you're making a podcast, or you haven't made it, so you don't have a podcast.
Don't have a podcast.
So we're kind of like in that in between where it's like, hey, I'm not saying we've made it, because I still think we still have lots of room to grow.
We're like 1% of what we want to be.
But it's giving that ability to others to come into our lives and us to share what we know. Not saying we know everything, but be like, hey, maybe you can learn something from this. I don't know.
Like just to tell people, like at 24 years old, we have a successful business, and we've created an amazing culture, in my opinion. One of the best cultures in terms of the size of facility that we have and the type of members that we have. And so just to talk a little bit about like how we've gone from 18-year-old getting out of high school to 24-year-old about to purchase our first house, have a successful business, how we're going to scale and hire employees at our age. And then really understanding like how we've navigated friends group, how we've navigated our relationship together and with other people at our age group. And so, I mean, let's be honest, we got married at what, 22, 23? We got married at 23 years old. So like it was a definitely a younger marriage than most people. And we've already been together for 11 years. So how have we been able to do these things so far? And yeah, share our thoughts. And we're going to have guests on the show who members of our facility or members that we know that are in leadership positions, or people may have had hard upbringings and now they're in a more successful position, and just get to ask them questions so that we can fill the gap for people our age listening to podcasts. I know that we listen to people who are usually 35, 40, 45, 50 years old, and they've made hundreds of millions of dollars or millions of dollars. I'm sure we all know those type of people. We look up to certain people like Andy Frisell and Ed Milet and Sean Whalen, those type of guys. But no one's, we're doing it at our age in the trenches. So we're like learning at our age how to scale. They're in the trenches, but at a different point in time.
Right, exactly.
Farther down the line.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. What do we do from here? I don't really know. Fuck. Let's talk a little bit about the business, the history of the business.
Okay, we're gonna dive just straight into.
Let's dive into like how we kind of got started in fitness. How to like our main business is House of Gains Gym. So that's how we make our living. That's our business. And so how that got started was 2016 when we graduated high school.
Yeah.
I got my first gym membership. My buddy got me into 24-hour fitness. First gym membership there. I worked out for about a year at that facility before I convinced Victoria to get a membership.
Mm-hmm. Now, ask me if I was ever the type of person that saw myself going to the gym. No, because it was never in my upbringing or home. Nobody in my family went to the gym. Like, no, we ate tortillas, rice, beans. Like, my mom had the dishwasher instead of dishes. It was always filled with like a whole bunch of snacks, like ding dongs and Twinkies and chips and everything. So
yeah, seriously, I love going to her house because like obviously we were more of a typical white household. We weren't rich by any means, but my mom tried to cook meals like every day, and they were like usually healthier meals. And so when we used to go to her house, it was like, fuck yeah, they got a dishwasher full of fucking ding-dongs.
It was like Hot Pockets, chimichangas, like all the stuff that was like easily purchasable through food stamps. Like, let's be real.
White person's house, you're not going to find a dishwasher with fucking hot Cheetos and ding-dongs, bro. I can tell you that right fucking now.
So, it was...
experience.
It was an experience for sure, especially just even the thought of going into a gym. So
yeah, so she came into the gym with me about a year into my fitness journey, and I think very quickly when we started working out together, I am definitely a very hard driver, so I like to push people. I see myself as a leader, in terms of like not so much as like, oh, I'm a leader, look at me, but more like I push the fuck out of people, and I like challenges. I'm very competitive, so when I got her into the gym, it was like a green light for me. Like, fuck yeah, cool, we can push each other now. So we got her into the gym, and then I was in the gym, and we worked out for, I don't know, about a year and a half, 2 years, and we went to college. And then my first year of college, I lived on campus, and she lived at UC Irvine. We were still kind of going to the gym. Her not as much when she was at Irvine, but I was still going at my college and going every single day to the gym. Yeah, so that's where our passion for fitness started. I think we started taking videos when kind of the Instagram fitness community wasn't as big as what it is now, maybe like a tenth of what it is now.
It was one of those things where like now, like back then, to film something, like
even just 7 years ago in a gym, it was weird. It was like really weird.
Like just filming something, like you had your phone and you were like up close, like to your chest, pretending you weren't filming, but you really needed to film, like, for like form purposes, but it was just like so foreign, to be filming. So
so we were kind of into that a little bit, and as we got more serious in the gym atmosphere and working out, we were in college. Victoria moved back from UC Irvine after she got sick, so we can go into that in a different episode. One thing led to another. Sophomore year came around, and I have family who were all entrepreneurs. My grandpa was an entrepreneur. My dad was self-employed after working for the city for a long time, and he left and he became self-employed. And so kind of always had it, like looked up to my dad and my grandpa for always being self-employed. And then I was on the way to school one day, and I listened to Andy Frisella's podcast since day one. So like when he started in 2015, or maybe it was out like late 2015, 2016. It was like episode like 67 or 68, and he ended there, or maybe it was 80, I don't know what it was. And he ended the podcast, and I was like pulling into the school parking lot, and I was in this political science class, and I get pretty heated in political science. We can go into a little bit about COVID and how we manage our business during those times.
Another time.
But he ended the podcast and he was like, he said, if you're holding back on what you want to do, just don't be a fucking pussy and do it, because you're going to regret it. And so that kind of stuck with me going into class. Like, dude, this is not what I want to fucking do, is be around these people, because that thought was lingering in my mind. And I went and sat down in my political science class, and I remember looking over, and there was a couple of kids who were complaining about, their position in life, and oh my god, I have three classes I'm taking. I work a part-time job. I can't get my grades up, right? And I had 6 classes, so I had a full load of classes, and I was a full-time manager at retail during the holidays, and I had to keep a 3.9 grade point for my scholarship. So I was getting straight A's, and I thought, dude, if I have to be around these fucking people anymore, I can't do this. Like, there's no way I can be around these type of kids. So I won't forget, I opened up my laptop and I was like, all right, I need to own a business. What fucking business am I gonna own? And it has to be something that I like. So I was like, well, what do we do every day? We go to the gym. I'm like, fuck it. But I don't want to be a personal trainer, because I don't like one-on-one personal training. So I'm like, I'm gonna open a gym. Like, this is cool. And at that time, I think what propelled us is that we were at 24 Hour Fitness at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We were at 24 Hour Fitness, and the culture of the gym, there was a couple of people there that were cool, but the culture was for sure subpar, and the maintenance was subpar, and the employees were subpar. Everything about it was subpar. And I could see, like, dude, there is a niche in our local community for a gym that brings a good environment, good equipment, good staff, just a good atmosphere, a good facility. So I was like, dude, I'm going to open my own gym. And definitely was not a good idea. Gyms are not the most scalable things. But I was like, once I start something, I fucking do it. And that's something that's a quality that I'm very proud of. And so, that's how we got started. And from there it was history. And then we can get into the process later on and how we started the business. But that's how we got started with House of Gains. Then fast forward 2 years later, we actually opened the facility. I took a year off of school. Victoria was still in school, but I took a year off to open the facility, and then we grew from there.
Yeah. It actually ended up working out, and I don't want to like dive too deep into it, but when you took the year off, it was like during that semester break where I left UC Irvine, and so it was like a semester of just like nothing really. I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, there really wasn't much going on.
Yeah.
I definitely I didn't know anything about business, so I took a year off way too early. I shouldn't have taken a year off when I did. Should have waited. But
yeah, but I mean, but during this whole process, like I said, I was still working at the Boys and Girls Club, and that was part-time. So aside from going to school, I still had that afternoon job. I mean, it was literally like 25 hours a week. And then just going to the gym and then just integrating that. And it was just on a roll. I mean, at the time, we just had a lot of stuff going on, and just ended up doing it.
Yeah, cool. So like that's basically kind of like the gist of how we got started. I don't want to make this intro video too long, so that's a little bit of our background. And so like I said, we opened up House of Gains. Victoria was working full time Boys and Girls Club, and then she moved to the Navy, and she was working with child and youth development there. I worked as a manager in retail at the outlets near us. I quit my job so I can open my business when it came time. Victoria lessened her hours at her job so that she could take on a larger role at the facility. We got married. A combination of both, her getting let go at her job for a specific reason that we can talk about in a different episode.
Right.
Wasn't a bad reason.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And a combination of that and getting married and deciding that we were going to just go full force. And thank God she did, because she fills a lot of gaps that I have. So, and vice versa.
Yeah, and now we're just figuring it out with our 2 little corgis that we forgot to mention.
Yeah, our 2 little corgos that we love.
So we also have 2 dogs, our fur babies, Gracie and Skipper. So maybe at some point they'll also be on the podcast making little guest appearances here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, we're super excited to unwrap things and just figure stuff out and talk to you guys about it and just bring you guys along with our journey. I mean,
yeah, this is a growth thing for us as well. So as much as we're providing value for other people, it's really just for us to step out of our comfort zone. And
yeah.
we have a lot of good conversations between each other and then with other people. And so we just want to bring that out to other people to listen along.
And put it on camera.
Yeah. Cool. So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. This is just a brief intro video that we can look back on in years past so people can know who we are. Hopefully if or I shouldn't say hopefully, when the show and the social media grows and we can look back on it if anybody wants to start from the very beginning. So
yeah.
appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening along and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.